Bienvenidos. Welcome to another installment of Real Expats of Panama, the show where we show you real life people who have made the same transition that you are looking to do right now. And today I'm joined by somebody that you probably already know if you follow this channel. He is a YouTuber himself, and his channel is called Chosen Few Expats. We've known each other since our exits or since our exodus from the U.S. has begun, and we were even neighbors for a while. So let me present to some and introduce to others Mr. Alonzo Brumfield from Chosen Few Expats. And welcome to the show, Alonzo. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Will, thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here. It's been a long time coming, man. We finally able to connect here on YouTube, so I'm excited about it.
I'm glad too, bro. I'm glad too. As I just finished telling the people introduction, a lot of people are going to already know you because you got Chosen Few Expats. I'm over here doing Panamazing tours, and I know people talk to me all the time. Yeah, I see that brother Alonzo, and can you tell him this? And it's all good, and I'm finally glad that we are finally able to do something together. So, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir.
Briefly, tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what led you to Panama.
So my name is Alonzo Brumfield. I'm from Gary, Indiana. My wife Shanae is from Cleveland. I'm an engineer, or was an engineer before basically quitting that job to move to Panama as an entrepreneur. So basically what brought us to Panama is, the conditions in the States. You all who are still there, I'm sure you can see it all unfolding in front of you. You had everything from, mass shootings, people being torn apart along every line possible, political, racial, gender lines. You got natural disasters, you got inflation going through the roof. So, all of these things say, hey, might want to look at getting out of here. And so we took a look at Panama once we started to investigate. And realized that it checked a lot of boxes. A lot of people were retiring to Panama. And we figured we need to find out why. Even though we're not retired, there had to be a reason why people were moving to Panama. And so, we investigated it and came down, took some exploratory trips, and the rest is history. We've been here for a little over 3 years now, and so far it's great.
Glad to hear it. And yeah, the reasonings that you're given sound a lot similar to a lot of people. I know people out there going through it, especially right now. I wake up and look at social media, and sometimes my heart goes out. Yeah, my heart goes out. But we're here, so.
Oh man.
And that's how I treat it. So now I'm following as a YouTube watcher myself. I was following your show while we weren't in the process of making our exodus from the U.S. So tell us, for the people who haven't seen your show before, tell us about the show and how that got started.
Okay, so Chosen Few Expats started because when we were looking at making the move to Panama, we did a lot of investigation. We took, as I said, 4 exploratory trips down here. We had a lot of information that we want to share, and we also know a lot of other people who are interested in leaving the country. So we just know, most of the time people just may need that little nudge. It's the uncertainty of, not knowing what's out there. But if people knew about Panama as an option, then more people would consider it. So, ultimately, we just want people to get out of the States, wherever they go. So, like I said, for us, it's not something that I often talk about, but, there are, prophetically some very bad things that are slated to happen to the States. We can see it unfolding before our eyes. So we know, that we have to leave that place, and we just want to do whatever we could to encourage others to leave. So we actually started the channel. Will, you may not know this, but, I actually started the channel about 6 months before we moved to Panama because we had a lot of footage from those exploratory trips and had done a lot of research. So we were still able to, produce some videos and some content even before we moved to Panama. So that's kind of how Chosen Few Expats, came about. And, we put it out there and it was well received. And, just glad to be able to help people be able to make the move from the U.S. or, wherever their home country is. But our target was specifically people in the U.S.
Look, no doubt about it, brother. You did a great job because we were watching you taking notes. The video you did on the moving containers and getting all that coordinated. I was stop, play, rewind, stop, play, rewind. Okay, let me call these people. Ask them what Alonzo just told me to ask, and it really helped us define what we were going to do because there wasn't a lot of instruction. There's no instruction manual for doing this, at least not the time that we were doing it. So it really came in. It really came in helpful for us, and I appreciate it. And then look, I was floored when we moved the car and auto and found out that you were right around the corner. Oh crap! Really?
Literally.
So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and really appreciate you for the work that you did on the show. So, tell us about a little bit about where you live, what you like about it, why you chose it.
Okay, so yeah, so we live in Gorgona, Panama. It's about an hour and 15 minutes west of Panama City. So we chose this area primarily because it's on the Pacific beach side. In Panama City, as great as it is, you don't have any swimmable beaches there. And you do have Toboga Island, which is close. You take a short ferry ride to get there, if you want. But I think we kind of decided we wanted to live on the beach, like beachfront. So overall, this area was the best option to be able to do that. And we could still, get to the city for more activities and events, whenever we want it because it's so close. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds. And then also this area tend to be a little bit less expensive than the city. So that's another benefit to living out here. But it's definitely a slower pace. There's not as many activities. Here it is a beach town. So, it just kind of balances out. Like I said, when we want some action, we just get in the car, go to the city for the weekend and hang out, come on back. So
it's a quick drive.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we chose the area.
Likewise. You hit some good points on there that we agree with wholeheartedly. There were some changes. We started at the beach. We live in the city now. We knew that there were some things that we were going to have to give up in order to affect that move, and then there were some things that we were going to gain at the same time. It's been a learning curve, and that's one of the things I love about Panama is that there's so much variety here. It's a small country, but there's a lot of places to live. There's a lot to do. You can dial it up or dial it down as much as you want to. And there's people everywhere. So there's communities, expats to help make your transition a little bit softer. We're all over the place. So no matter where you go, you're going to be able to find someone. Let me ask you about community involvement. Inserting yourself into the culture here in Panama. How has that been for you? How's that process working out for you?
Yeah, it's been good for us. It's been basically kind of a steady, steady injection, of ourselves into the community and meeting more people and just learning more about the culture. Kind of started off with, well, there's a lot of things that contributed to it. We very early on had a Spanish teacher. Her name is Jasmine, which, we do recommend for people, if you want to learn the language to, you can get a Spanish teacher. Her rate's like $10 for an hour. You sit on her porch, there's beautiful flowers out there and everything. And we learned some Spanish, but, she was associated with a church. And, they have a lot of activities, a lot of community service activities. So we were able to get involved with some of that stuff, to be able to go basically like stucco a lady's house and clean up the, garden and all of that. It was like a big community thing where everybody came to help. It enabled us to be able to meet a lot of people. And then the other thing, which kind of came as a surprise, for us through a sport, pickleball, that we picked up here that was played in Gorgona Park, which is right up the street from where we live. It's a game that was introduced to us by expats, but a lot of the local Panamanians picked up the sport also. So, we're able to meet through that a lot of people that live right in the neighborhood that come to the park, that play with us. And we established some really great relationships, in particular with a lot of the college students. So we spent, a lot of time, personal time with them, trying to help them out and guide them and, kind of expose them maybe to some ways of earning income. Like one of the guys started like a t-shirt clothing company,
Nice.
And just kind of expose them to some things that they could do, like, fiber type stuff, translations, because some of these kids are bilingual. So it's just like, hey, you guys could transcribe some documents or whatever, and you may get $10, $15 a pop to, most people in the States, not a lot, but, to these kids, that could be
real money.
It's real money. So, through all of that, we've been able to really get involved, with the community. And we do love living here in Gorgona. The fact that we can walk up the street and interact with folks in our community, it does not really have so much of an expat feel as, say, like an area like Coronado, which is right next door.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some expats that live in Gorgona. They live in homes, right along with the Panamanians, and it's great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So your real estate experience. Tell us about your experience in locating your home there in Gorgona. What was it like? Did you have to do some Goldilocks, testing the beds and all that good stuff to make sure this was just right?
Dreaming of new horizons? Ready to embark on a journey of a lifetime? Introducing Panamazing Tours, your gateway to the extraordinary wonders of Panama. We're here to turn your dreams into reality. Join us as we uncover the beauty and excitement of Panama together. Our Panamazing Relocation Tours offer a VIP experience like no other. With small groups of up to 4, you're ensured a personalized and unforgettable journey. Whether you're seeking the perfect place to relocate or simply wanting to explore Panama's wonders, our expertly crafted tours are designed to meet your every desire. Escape the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. Panamazing Tours is your passport to a life filled with adventure, culture, and unforgettable memories. Your journey starts here.
So, this is another story, man. You're probably not going to believe this, I guess, when I get to the end of it. But, our story as far as finding a place to live is actually pretty good. It was pretty easy. Because, like I said, we had narrowed down and we wanted to live on the beach. We wanted to kind of live beachfront. So, so that puts us more or less like in a condo. We could have stayed in a house, rented a house, but we do rent. We decided not to buy. So, most people don't recommend purchasing a home right away. Anyway, you're supposed to come here, live, check out some places for a year or so before making that kind of commitment. So we do rent. But for us, it worked out because on these trips that we took, we would always spend about 3 or 4 days in the city and 6 or 7 days out here at the beaches. And so, the Airbnbs that we rented, the last one that we rented on our exploratory trip is the one that we've been living in here for the last 3 years. So nice. we already had our own bed test, right? We didn't have to, it's all good. And we knew exactly what we were walking into, the exact unit, the furniture, the whole deal. So, that's basically a recommendation for some people. If you kind of have it narrowed down a specific area that you want to live, and you've come and you've stayed at a place already and you really like it, then float it to the property manager to ask the owner if they're interested in a long-term rental. And everything is negotiable here in Panama. As you tell the people all the time, and just float it out there and see what happens. You never know. So in our case, it worked out. I think the timing really was good by being pretty much immediately after COVID. So the place hadn't been rented on Airbnb because, there was no tourism really. So, might have just caught the owner at a little bit of a vulnerable time in terms of, wanting
It
some
worked.
stability with long-term rent. So yeah, it all worked out for us. And so yeah, our story is pretty easy. We didn't have to
And I'm
kind
sure
of or anything.
3 years later, I'm sure he's happy that you're still, still there. And he doesn't have to find tenants with short-term rentals. Yeah, I'd be happy as, I'm not going to say that because I can't put it on YouTube, but I'd be very happy.
It's been good so far, I think, on both sides. It's been really, really good,
Excellent, excellent. Talk to us a little bit in general terms about the cost of living, the cost of living difference between where you came from, the United States, what you're experiencing there, and then for someone who was in the process, in general, what could they expect, in your estimation, to spend to rent something in that same area?
Okay, yeah, sure. So as far as comparing to the US, yeah, cost of living in Panama, yeah, is much less expensive than in the States. Your primary or largest expense generally is going to be your housing. So in Panama you can pay up for as much as you want or as little as you want, depending on what your needs or wants are. If you're willing to live like some of the folks I mentioned, say in a local Panamanian community like Gorgona. I mean, you can rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house here for $600-700, $750, something like that. In Coronado is going to be more because it's an expat centric area, maybe around on the very low end, right, like $1,100, $1,200-1,300 to rent a home like that. But you might have a little pool and everything. You're going to pay up for it a little bit there, but almost everything else is less expensive. Generally, the only other thing that could be more expensive, in my experience, is like food brands at the grocery store that's imported. For certain brands that you like, if you want some Tide or something like that, laundry detergent, nah, you got to go get the local Panamanian brand that's just as good
Just so
and it's
good.
less expensive. So that's how you can save money there. But almost everything else is less expensive. I mean, when you look at your cell phone service, your, internet, car insurance, all these things, health insurance, everything you name it is less expensive. And even when it comes, especially when it comes to anything that's labor related. So just say like one example with the car. I bought a car here, get a good price on cars also, but I needed a radiator. So I had the radiator installed. Will, this dude installed this radiator for $110, man. I got an older model Infinity truck. It's not new, it's an older model, it's got low miles on it. Still, I mean, come on, man. Where they doing that at?
Look,
So,
I feel your pain. I feel you on that one, definitely.
yeah, you can save some money, here. So it's generally your cost of living is going to be generally lower. It can be as high if you go buy all the same U.S. branded products that you want, or if you just want to rent like a $2,000-3,000 a month condo or house or something like that. But otherwise, you're gonna be spending less money for sure.
You could definitely do it. Let me chime in because I just had my radiator replaced 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow!
And I'm at the mechanic and he's telling me what the problem is. First it's the language barrier, so we're translating as we go. And he's telling me the radiators needs to come out, and to do that they have to remove the whole front end. And as soon as he said remove the front end, I'm like, oh my God, because in the States I've been through that and I knew that was going to be $500-600 off the top. $85. $85. When he told me that, I was trying to be cool about it and that, not do jumping jacks and cartwheels in this parking lot, because I didn't want him to charge me more either. Like, okay, Green Bay got more money.
Yeah.
I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed at how cheaply and how well the work was done.
Yeah, it was good, man. It's a good experience. Now I will add this though, when it comes to the cost in our case, where it does balance out. So yes, we may be saving money on bills and things like that. However, you're sitting here in Panama. It's easy to get around. There are a lot of beautiful places to see here.
Mhm.
Panama is close to a lot of other countries. You can travel, go to Colombia, Ecuador, some of these other places in the Caribbean. So, you may travel more. So, at the end of the day, you may end up, your cost of living may end up roughly the same or a little bit, whatever. But I'll take that trade if I'm getting to travel.
All day, every day. I mean,
Yeah,
if I'm seeing the world as opposed to paying Duke Power or whoever the top company is, or T-Mobile, that's a good trade for me. And look, I see you and Shanae getting it in. Y'all don't. You're not nervous about jumping on planes and going
I'm
to
trying.
see what's going on. But it's beautiful. You should. That's exactly part and parcel of one of the things that we all look for in being able to get this lifestyle, which leads me to my next question. Lifestyle changes. How has your lifestyle changed since moving to Panama?
Okay, yeah, lifestyle. So, well, I mean, even just hitting back a little bit on the previous question with the travel. I watched your video, before we went to Cartagena. That helped us out a lot. They even shot you a couple of messages like, "Hey, man, what about this? What about that?" So, you guys got the same experience, in doing that. But lifestyle wise, I would have to say that we live a lot less structured life, I would say, because we both had corporate jobs, nice corporate jobs. My wife was an IT project manager, and I was an engineer and program manager. So we quit those jobs. So now you come here. Yes, we're running a couple of businesses here, which does take some time, but it's not the same structure as being on the clock. 9 to 5. And in my
Right.
case, I had an hour-long commute to work. I lived in Louisville. I worked in Lexington, Kentucky. It was 70 miles. So I had to drive an hour minimum each day to and from work, on top of the work day. So biggest lifestyle change for me is just that it's a lot less structured. Can get up, can pretty much do what we want. We generally get up, we'll go play pickleball most days, come back, grab a bite to eat, turn on the news, maybe see what's going on back in the States. Like, okay, what kind of tomfoolery and hijinks is going on back in the States?
What mess?
Just got to stay up on top. You still got to keep an eye on it, man.
Right. What are they crying about now?
Yeah, they got to go. You got to see what's going on.
Right.
Check that out, and then I may have some work I need to do at our storage unit. We make and sell holy anointing oil on Amazon. It's the oil that's made in Exodus 30 in the Bible. So we have a storage unit up the street. So I'll go up there, mix the oils, bottle it. I got a bottle filling machine, labeling machine, label the stuff, bring it back to the condo, and then while we were binge watching whatever TV show we were watching at the time, in the evenings we'll both sit there and package it up and get the shipment ready and ship it back in the Amazon's warehouse. But in between that, some weeks, some days we may go out to lunch, and as I mentioned before, we may take a weekend trip to the city, or you may go hang out at the pool, or whatever. Some friends want to get together. Biggest form of entertainment, as you know, out here at the beaches is getting together and go and watch some live music, go to the restaurant, meeting up with some people. So that's what we do, sometimes as well. A group of people have like card parties, cards and game parties. There's one gentleman we both know, may have like an event, like a farm to fork event, owns a farm, has fresh products, puts together an event, a farm to fork event with nice, like 5-course type of meal for like $30 with some wine. It's kind of hard to beat. But yeah, it's pretty free flowing, now. We'll get up, take a short trip to El Valle, nice city up in the mountains. For those who don't know, it's not too far away from here. Or check out some of the other beaches that's farther down the Pacific coast. So, it's a big lifestyle change. I would say for us, just in the sense that it's not structured.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Technically, you're not retired.
Right.
You're not doing your corporate stuff anymore, but you're still working and you're still spending time making income and planning for the future. And yet it sounds like you have a lot of leisure time. Because look, dude, I know you get up and you go play pickleball in the mornings, and that's almost every day, right?
Yeah, probably 4 or 5 times a week. Some weeks maybe 2 times if I got a lot of stuff to do. I won't play as much, but Sinead, she playing 4 or 5 times a week for sure.
I mean, you were just telling me y'all were in a tournament, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Went
That's
to go catch
that's,
for a tournament. You know, hey, she made the medal stand. You know,
look
your
at
boy
that.
didn't make it. Your boy came up a little short, but she made the medal stand.
Look,
So it's
look
all
at that.
good.
And did you have that kind of leisure time in Louisville?
No, definitely not, because like I said, I had basically a full work day with an hour-long commute on each end of it.
Yeah,
I did have the ability to work from home. I say a couple of days a month, maybe,
yeah.
but I had some flexibility, but not this type of time. But I mean, we do still have the YouTube channel. As you know, we developed an online course, Panama Relocation online course.
Mm-hmm.
So and that shooting these videos and editing these videos and all of that stuff does take a substantial amount of time. So
Tell
I
them
don't want
about
to make I don't want to make it sound like I just got all
it.
kinds of time to burn. All I'm saying is that there's work getting done, but it just may not be within a 9 to 5 type of time frame.
We're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about healthcare. What is how have your experience with the healthcare system been? If you had any deep experience with the healthcare system, but just in general, even if not, your view of the healthcare system, the access, and what you're paying for it.
Mm-hmm. So basically, with healthcare, our experience has been good. I mean, our health is very, very good. So we don't have as much experience in this area as most
Mm-hmm.
do. We just have a plan with the local clinic to just go get our annual tests and checkups and everything like that. Make sure everything is in order, and
And
that's
how much is
very,
that plan? If you don't mind me
very.
asking.
Man, let's try to remember. Is it like maybe $60 or something? 60 a month or something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember. I have to go dig it up. But even just seeing a general practitioner is like $25-$30. You want to go see a specialist, you're looking at $50-$60. Even if you need some x-rays or something like that, that's very inexpensive. I know folks that have had like minor surgeries,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like cyst removal or something like that, and maybe in the order of like $200, $300 or something like that. A similar procedure in the States is like $2,000 or $3,000.
Right.
So, the experience has been good, and the doctors, I think I do like the fact that there's more of it's more personal. They're not really trying to shuttle you through like, okay, you've been in here 5 minutes, get on out, let me get to the next one. They really do seem to care and have some genuine concern for you, or whatever your ailment is. So I do like that a lot.
All right. Good to hear. I'm glad you guys are healthy and not needing the healthcare system as much. The, the thing that has wowed me the most about the healthcare is how accessible it is, how easy it is to get to a specialist. I went to San Fernando Clinic out in Coronado. I thought I was getting sciatica. They told me I need to see an orthopedic specialist, and I'm like, oh, great. How long is that going to take? Well, can you come back tomorrow? Okay. And the next thing I know, I was on my way to Panama City to get an MRI, which only cost $300 compared to in the States when I tried to get one with my healthcare insurance. My portion was going to be $700 for the same MRI. I think I paid $15 or $20 for the visit at San Fernando, and then I had to pay out of pocket for whatever they injected into me, but it was never more than $80. The lab tests were quick, fast, so it was just, and the amount of time that they spent, the amount of time that the doctor spent with me, I can't remember that. I think it was Dr. Levi.
Yep, Dr. Levy.
Dr. Levi, okay, and Coronado, he spent with me in the first intake visit, asking me about habits, my stress levels, all the things that old school doctors used to do in the United States before the insurance companies started, managing their process and making it so they would only spend 5 minutes with you at a time. So I felt very, 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 very good about that. Looking at the time, let me ask you a couple more questions and wrap this up. What's a good one? Oh, advice. Yes. Advice to new expats or people in the process. What advice would you give to someone considering to move to Panama? Like, maybe the number one thing to do or to avoid. Take your pick.
Oh boy, let's see. I mean, well, the number one thing to do is to take an exploratory trip, come down, take a Panamazing tour, because you got to come down, get feet on the ground, boots on the ground, check it out for yourself. Highly recommend that. The second best thing you could do, and it's not just a self plug, it's just the honest truth, is take something like our Panama Relocation online course, which kind of lays everything out that you need to do step by step. Because these are tools that, when Will and I moved here, we just didn't have. We didn't have it. At least we did have a few YouTubers we were able to look at, get some information, make some trips ourselves. But even people who have come here, moved here before we did, they've told me, and we have some mutual friends that are in the touring industry also, which have said, hey, I wish we would have had like a course like this or a tour like this, or I mean, you have your guide, or a guide. So that's what I highly recommend, is that you research, because, you're going to be surprised by something. Nothing is going to go totally smooth. And so you can minimize those mistakes and the bumps in the road if you really, really do research and do your homework.
Excellent. Here's a quick one. Unexpected surprises. Has there been anything that you did not plan on that just jumped out like, oh crap, we got to deal with this?
Oh, yeah, and for us, not really. We fortunately have not had any major bumps in the road. Of course, you always have, if you have family issues, you have, people pass away, you have to go home. Those are the type of things, like the biggest things that have impacted us. In terms of us, being here, living here, and have like something catastrophic happen, we really haven't, fortunately, you had to deal with anything, on that level.
Good. Glad to hear that. But we know there's some stories out there where people have run into some issues. Everybody is not successful in moving or remaining in Panama, so things can happen. So I think what you said is very important about the planning, the research, the site visits, getting all of those ducks in a row, because it's a foreign country. And it's a foreign culture. You need to understand what you're getting yourself into. I know what Alonzo has created with his course, and I think that is a wonderful way for people to get smart really fast on what they need in order to be successful in this. So before we leave, tell us more about that course, what it covers, and what people can expect when they sign up for it.
Okay, so really what's covered in our course, we have right now over 50 instructional videos, and we're continuing to add to it. But it's basically everything you need to know, A to Z, to complete your move to Panama. And there is some information that you may see out there, just say like on our channels and on some others, but there's also a lot of information that's not out there because, as you know, Will, there's only so much time that you have to do a YouTube video, because people's attention spans are literally shorter than a goldfish, like literally. Like goldfish, like, what is it, 9 seconds versus 8 seconds or something like that. So, if you really want to take a deep dive in a classroom setting, where because some YouTube videos, you kind of have to hurry up and get through it because people are going to turn it off,
Right.
But when you're doing a course like this, you don't really have to do that. So Basically, we have different modules. You know, we have modules that deal starting off with like the Panamanian culture, the people, you know, what the government structure is like. There's a lot of things that people don't think about when they're making a move. And then you get into some other things that people kind of do have some awareness of, like the cost of living, you know, the banking system, getting the banking system, the economy, which is very important, I think is a factor that a lot of people overlook when they consider moving to a country. And also just the stability of the government. You don't want to move somewhere and then just have the economy and the government just collapse. You know, you have to inform yourself of these things. And then also all of the residency visa information, you know, the healthcare information. We also have an international relocation planning tool, which helps you to plan your move. So we manage it more like a project because we both have project management experience, my wife and I. And your move is like, it's one of the most important projects you're going to ever manage in your life. So we look at it more from that standpoint and apply some project management principles to it. That include checklists that begin as early as 2 years prior to the move, all the way up to moving day. So you can, if you hit those checklists, you're going to pretty well cover everything you need to do. Everybody's personal situation is different, so you may need to add or subtract some things from those checklists. But generally, that's kind of you know, what you get in the course. You know, you also get some of our, you know, recommended you know, folks that we in services that we recommend you use, which is going to be pretty much a lot of the same folks that Will also works with as well. So that's pretty much what's covered in there. And then just, you know, just increased exposure, you know, to me to be able to ask questions and get some guidance on a more personal level.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's definitely important. You know, even in college, it was in class, you always had the ability to go ask the teacher a question after class, and that was important because sometimes you didn't understand something. You need to get that understanding. So that one time is very important. I'm very glad that that you decided to do that course and help people, because you're absolutely right. These tools were not available to us when we were on the path. I think there are some things that I know I would have done differently about our process. You know, look, I made some huge mistakes on the way in, and then, you know, and paid for them. But it's a learning curve. It all works out, and then hopefully, you know, people can, at least my people that come to me, can learn about, you know, what not to do from some of my mistakes. But having that background and having that research is going to be vital, so that you don't, you know, pick up and move into something that you weren't expecting, or, you know, your expectations were up here and the reality is really here. So I think it's very, very, very important, and I'm glad that you're doing what you do. When you talk about your rationale for doing it, it actually mirrors mine a lot. To me, this is a ministry. I am, for the same reason, I think the U.S. is a sinking ship. Sorry, that is what it is. You know, and it's important for people on a sinking ship to know where the exits are, how to find a lifeboat, and, you know, what to do when you get on that lifeboat. So I don't know about you, but, you know, when I first moved here, I used to tell my friends and family, like, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. That didn't go over too well with them. So I decided it is a little bit better to use honey to attract the folks. And so here we are on this channel showing you how great life here in Panama is. And yeah, I just want you to get out the way.
That's it, man. That's it. I mean, you know, if the train is coming, you know, and, you know, the light, you can see the light look like a little pin, you know, top of a pin is way out there, and you on the tracks.
Right?
Should you stay on the tracks until the light gets this big? No.
No. So, get off the track.
Get off the tracks.
Get off the way.
That's the basic message, man.
Get out the way. Get out the way. So that's the secret. That's the secret. That's why this channel exists, so that, we can get people out of harm's way and then start enjoying, because that's the other side of this. This is fun.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know if it's come through yet, but we have a pretty good time. So life is pretty good here. Let me stop running my mouth and wrap this up. Alonzo, man, I'm so happy that we finally got a chance to do something together. This does my heart good, and I know it's not going to be the last time. We see each other all the time. We talk all the time. On the offside, no one's going to understand this. They're almost finished with that boxing center.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I saw that. Yeah.
So the next time we can just go across the street for the fight, and then afterwards we can come back to our apartment and sit on the balcony.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Those things that people on Avenue Balboa. So
yeah.
We're not gonna do that. But look, yes, Alonzo invited me to my first live boxing match here in Panama, and we loved it. Who knew?
Awesome.
Who knew I like violence?
Real boxing, man.
Real boxing.
It was a real. I mean, these guys were like top 10 ranked WBA, WBC contenders and stuff, all up and down that fight card. So it was the real deal.
It was real, and I enjoy hearing the crowd. Like the corner men behind me yelling to the guys. I got to practice more Spanish for boxing, so I understand, because I know he was telling the dude to move, and you're dropping your guard. I mean, I could picture what he was trying to say to the dude, but I couldn't pick it up. But it was a wonderful time, folks.
Do you remember how much we paid for those ringside seats? While we talking cost of living, so let's let the people know. Do you remember? If not,
it wasn't much. It was $20, maybe.
General admission was $10, and we paid $40 for those ringside seats. This is an event that's like on ESPN Family and Networks, folks.
Yes, ringside. Yes, like stuff was hitting us.
It's like, wow, sweat really does fly. I come flying.
Right. And then at some point, I guess one of the promoters sat down at the table beside us, and he had that belt on the table with it. So I'm like, well, can I hold it? can I take a picture with it on or something and fool my friends? It was a beautiful thing, but we really appreciated that. But that's the type of, I never would have done that. I'm not saying there's not opportunities to see boxing in DC. I just never went to see boxing in DC, and I definitely wasn't going to only spend $40 for ringside seats. So yeah, that was. The drinks were flowing. That was a beautiful event. But anyway, I'm running my mouth again. So, folks, thank you so much for joining us on Pan Amazing Tours once again. If you found some value, and I hope you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to keep helping us grow. Check us out. Alonzo, let them know where they can find you real quick and see your courses.
Okay, yeah, our website is PanamaRelocationOnlineCourses.com, or you can also visit Chosen Few Expats, our channel, and access it that way.
Beautiful. Folks, until next time, y'all know how this works. Ciao.